As far as getting prepared for the funeral services and, talking to the mortician, it wasn't something that we had any information about. I mean, you drive past the mortuary growing up and you're like, okay, well, that's where they take dead people and, get them ready for funeral services. But I think Angel Watch, going back to that group, was very supportive in the sense that they asked if that we wanted them to reach out to, the mortuary and have them set up everything. And I think just the fact that we didn't know where we would be at, if we would take Ezekiel home, if he would pass in the hospital, we just decided to go ahead and do it ourselves. And I kind of took, the reins on that specific part of Ezekiel's life. And, like Itzel mentioned, my whole family ended up back at the hospital around 2:30 in the morning on, the 28th, Sunday, the 28th of February. And, that morning, Itzel and I slept with Ezekiel in a bassinet next to us that was really cold to just keep his organs and everything intact. And Itzel woke me up and said, hey, we got to figure out what we're doing. And so I called over to Anderson Mortuary in American Fork, and they were super helpful. And they said, hey, we will take care of everything. We will come pick up your baby from the hospital. We'll take very good care of him. And then you guys can come in the next day and we can sit down and talk about funeral services. And so they came in around 9:30 on Sunday, and right before they got there, this nonprofit group gave us molds of his hands and feet and his face, and it was so hard to see the mortician come and take our baby in a small casket and know that we had to leave the hospital in the next 2 to 3 hours without a baby. And so I think the fact that he was so helpful and so kind and gentle with Ezekiel gave us reassurance that, we will go home, be together, grieve, let Jade be taken care of by my father-in-law, mother-in-law. And then the very next day, we were able to go to the mortuary and figure out, funeral costs. The only thing that we really had to pay for was the casket, and we had a lot of people help with that. And then they set up the funeral service. They set up the grave area for Ezekiel, which was super nice for us. We essentially just had to show up to the mortuary, and they had Ezekiel there in the casket, embalmed, and all of our family was able to come up. Itzel's family drove overnight to be there for the funeral service. And I just think when you're going through so much with a lot of unknowns, the fact that you can turn to these, different groups and know that they'll be there to support you as well as family made it a lot easier. And the mortuary office was super nice and helpful to us as far as helping us navigate this experience.
Yeah, so we chose to do his burial and funeral services a week after his birth. And we kept it really intimate. It was mostly just our family. And like Brenton said, we had some family who drove from California overnight to be there with us. We had family from Arizona who flew in just to be there with us. But it was like aunts and uncles from our parents' siblings that came and that were able to come. And it was a short service where, they got to see Ezekiel, and then we went to the gravesite, and it was short and sweet. We shared pictures of his birth that day with our family, and we just talked about how special that experience was for everyone who was in the room and got to meet him. We did follow up with a memorial service about 2 months later, just because we wanted to give ourselves time to grieve and to really have something special for him, but not rush into anything, if that makes sense. So about 2 months later, we had a celebration of life in honor of Ezekiel with lots of friends and lots of family supporting us via Facebook Live and all these things through a private event. And we were able to share his birth video with our family and friends there, and it was really special. It's hard because you don't really anticipate planning something like this for your newborn and, for your child ever. But like Brenton said, having people there who step in every step of the way really made it helpful. I think Angel Watch even offered to call the mortuary with us, or for us, and set everything up so that we didn't have to make those phone calls. And, it was something that transpired through the last couple weeks. They were just constantly checking in, texting. And so we knew that we had that support there from someone we honestly didn't even know. And it was just incredible to feel that support through the mortuary and through the funeral and celebration of life.